Hey guys, I'm Leila. Today we are in Raid A Shadow Legends, and we're going to be reading the lore story for Modo of the Peal, who happens to be one of the duo partners for February 2025, like the Valentine's Day fusion, along with Esme the Dancer. If you guys missed the lore story for Esme, I had just posted not too long ago. Troll, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. And we're going to be reading Modo of the Peal, who's obviously Quasimodo. They have this Hunchback of Notre Dame going, right? So already I like that if we're adding a Quasimodo, that they figured out how to add him in would be in the Ogrins. So I think that was a really, really good choice for Raid. And I like what they did with him. I like his character design quite a bit. We already know how Modo fits in on Esmeralda's story from her point of view. So what we're going to do is we're going to read Modo's story. And as usual, I have not read it. I want to save it for you guys. So here we go. Here's the lore story for Modo of the Peal. Few souls in the Karak city of Lutita knew who rang the bells of its huge, famous cathedral. People traveled from miles away to hear the beautiful tolling, and the whole city worked to the hourly gongs that perfectly marked the passing of time. AOP, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate that. The cathedral's priests refused to give a direct answer to any questions when people inquired, giving only ambiguous responses about Lumea's blessing this most faithful city. One man who did know was Vadok, a senior clergyman responsible for the cathedral's day-to-day running. His predecessor had been a woman of faultless faith and kindness called Bertha, who had taken great care of him as a child. Vadok loved her, but was shocked when she took in an Ogren baby she had found. He said it was naive at best, blasphemy at worst. She chided him, saying all beings were Lumea's creation. He bit his tongue after that, and out of loyalty, did nothing to stop her. By the time Bertha died, Modo, as she named the Ogren, was an adult and living in the bell tower far from the eyes of priests in the congregation. Vadok continued to protect him, but showed no kindness. He could not help but tell Modo he was impure, imperfect, part of Lumea's creation, yes, but a part so innately flawed even her magnificence was not enough to wipe it away. He demanded Modo be grateful he still protected him, an enormous risk to himself. Ogren were not loved anywhere in Karak. Modo's task was to ring Lutita's cathedral bells. He did so with an enormous hammer, one he had made himself to Bertha's praise, because the bell's original clappers were broken. He was naturally strong enough to wield the tool, and he performed his duty to an exacting standard. Not even Valdalk could deny that, though he gladly took the credit. For years, Modo lived a lonely life, taking what pride he could in his craft, his only chance at company the occasional visit from Vadok. The ogre called the man brother, still, because that's how Bertha had referred to him. Vadok sometimes called Modo by that name also, but only when he wanted something, or insisted the ogre do as he was told. Modo had learned not to ask for a chance to leave, to see the city he gazed at from his tower all day. The people seemed so small from up here. He heard them laugh and shout, watching them go about their business, whatever it might be. He longed to taste the food they ate, share in their jokes, and play some of the games the children played. Then came along a street performer unlike any Modo had seen before. A human woman, dressed in foreign garb, her skin kissed by the sun. He was captivated by the elegance and ease of her flowing movements, how happy she seemed, how natural and herself she seemed to be. So unlike him. Modo became dismayed, however, when as the days passed, the crowd came to shout, throw things, and hurl abuse at her. These were the very things Valdok had said they would do to him for being an Ogren, yet they were doing it to a fellow human. When the mob's actions reached a fever pitch after several days, Modo did something that went against everything he had ever been taught. Confused, angry, and fearful, he thought of Bertha's belief in the importance of protecting the vulnerable to help him decide what to do. Modo rappelled down from his tower, hammer strung over his shoulder, and shoved his way through the crowd to reach the dancer. Together, they fought their way free of Lutita and reached Esme's people, a Kraken nomad clan called the Dust Spirals. It camped outside the city. There, Modo was torn. Esme wished him to join her clan, but everything he'd ever known was in Lutita. He knew deep down things couldn't go back to the way they were before, and that this was perhaps his chance to experience the world he had been hidden from for so long. But still he felt afraid. When Valdak rode out to the camp and had disowned him in front of the clan, Modo realized there was nothing for it. He departed with them for the Kraken Desert that very day, and the weeks and months that followed formed friendships, felt the spray of the sea on his face, and saw places he had never even heard of before. As a gesture of thanks to him, the clan's pyromancer ensorcelled his hammer, granting its head a fiery heart to represent the ogre's burning sense of justice. Finally, Modo knew something resembling happiness. Oh, you guys, I have to say, I actually really do like this story. I think they found such a good way to tie in Quasimodo from the Hunchback of Notre Dame, and how they linked it with Esme, whose story we already read. And yeah, they dove a bit more into Vadalk, who's Frollo, right? Except in this, it's Valdalk's mother, or at least who raised him, that actually found Modo and brought him in. And Vadalk and Modo were more like brothers instead of having like this father-son kind of relationship. But they did also keep Vadalk very similar to the character that he's represented in Hunchback of Notre Dame, as far as just being like a terrible human being. Like, he was not nice to Modo at all. And we still see this here. But I love seeing that Modo gets this happy ending here where he joins Esme and he actually, like, he makes friends. He ends up literally having a clan. He has people that accept him for who he is. And they said he's actually happy where he didn't have happiness before. So I have to say, I really, really like this story quite a bit. Guys, drop me a comment down below what you think for the lore story of Modo of the Peal, and thanks for watching.